Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the February meeting of the MVCUG Computer Users Group. I'm John, the president, and I'd like to welcome you all. Now, today, we've got a really great meeting planned. There we go. Very briefly talked about the user group business. A lot of timely tech topics. This has been a very interesting past 4 weeks, especially the last 2 weeks. Because when we were putting this together, I said, hey guys, I haven't seen real news. So we went out hunting and I had more news than I knew what to do with. And then we're going to get into a really interesting discussion on web browsers and search engines. Everything you wanted to know and didn't even know to ask about. And it's going to be a discussion because when we get into the topic, you'll understand why I can't say, well, you need to do X, Y, and Z. Because X, Y, and Z, it's a lot depending on what you decide. We'll be right along. We do have a sponsorship program. It's $10 a meeting or $100 a year. If you have a home business or know somebody who has a business, anybody wants to get rid of money, we'll take it. Our sponsor this month is the Campbell lady, Carolyn, our treasurer. And Valentine's Day and specials. Hey, Grapefruit's a new one. I'm not familiar with that one.
No, that's great. That's your favorite. That's every month they come out with a new flavor. And that's the February one.
I may have to get that one. I love a grapefruit. I love struck. Italian the aphrodisiacs now.
It's actually the love struck one is really like a cinnamon.
If you're looking for a Valentine's Day present, or somebody who's looking for one, make great gifts. And
I just want to mention, I don't have sweet tarts because I personally am not into the sweet kind of sense. And if it's a candle that I can't use because nobody buys it, I don't buy it. I'll order it for you though. Yeah. But the love struck, I do have the love struck one, and I do have a champagne one if you're looking for a Valentine's gift. But those I have stuff because it takes me a week to get them if I have to order them.
Okay, great. And there's your phone number and her email address. Going to the MEP User Group Business. Here are the officers, and all except one of us are sitting right here in the front. We have Mike McLean, Carol McLean, Barry McGorton. Is there anybody who does not know who they are? Kim, who they are, what they do. She saw him last month. And please, Tim has done a really good job of this website. So, go up and check it out. It's very easy to get to. The links to just about everything under the sun, including you go from here up to our video site where we have all the meetings. Then you can subscribe to it. And then every time I post it, you'll get immediately notified that it's up there, because the time it gets posted, the time the email goes out can be 4 or 5 hours. Because I have to wait. I get the notification from YouTube that, yes, I've in fact posted. Well, YouTube sends out the subscription notices immediately. So you get a chance to go in and watch immediately. I don't know what happened last month, but last month we had 37 views, which is supposed to be that on any video so far. So I don't know where all the people are coming from or watching it, and they're watching the entire thing. It's an hour and a half long. And the December video will be coming out this year for sure. We have a Facebook page. You can go and find out membership benefits, upcoming monthly topics, so we'll keep that updated. Here is the user group mail list, which if you're not part of, it really should be, because it's being getting a lot of usage and a lot of good answers to questions. Most people find out, less than an hour normally. Have a person ask the question, they get at least one, if not both answers.
Probably.
And we've had all kinds of questions asked, and they get answered very quickly. We'll be long. Freshman consultation discounts. Barry and I both do this. We have very successful remote help through Zoom or through messages. But I do want to state that the hardware issues, it's not coming with a guarantee. If it's a software issue, we guarantee the software. If we can't solve it, we don't pay it. If it's a hardware issue, it's a different story. Quite often, like I ran one yesterday, it ended up being I think it's hardware at least. It's something that has happened with the Macintosh I have never seen before. I have no idea what's going on. Even Apple's confused about it, because I talked to Apple support yesterday on the phone. And so he's going to have to take it in. So I have to figure out what's going on, because it's not acting like anything I've ever seen before. Here are our 2 phone numbers. Leave a message. You can text either one of us. It's good texting. And if you have a problem, we generally about 98% effective. It's the only problem.
I don't keep stats.
We're talking about collaboration software. Most people think about collaboration as being with business. No, actually, collaboration works really well. And if you have a club, if you have a family that is remotely located, you can go up like what we're using, my daughter's getting married very shortly, and we're using collaboration, but she doesn't know that sort of thing. You go through everything that we need to do, the timelines, the guest lists, so as to be very effective when you need to share information with people and update it immediately. And then in April, it's a meeting I'm looking forward to. Smartphone videography. For those of you who do not realize it, your phone, if you bought it within about the past 4 years, is one of the best video cameras you can buy on the market, or significantly less than its equivalent video camera. Mine, I have the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Videographers all around the world are using it for movies that you see in the cinema. It's that. And it has something that I'll be demonstrating called stabilization. You ever notice when people take videos sometimes at church when walking? They came up with about 10, 15 years ago a gadget you'd have to wear that would keep it stable.
Kind of gimbal, yeah.
A lot of the modern phones have that built in. So you could just be holding your phone, just holding something special, walking, and the video will be totally stable. And if you're on, I've seen it running. Well, I'm not going to demonstrate running here yet, but I can't run it. But I have taken it out really rough roads walking where the non-stabilized is like this, and the stabilized perfectly set like a music hole. It's amazing. And we'll go through all the different things you can do with it and how to create your own videos very easily. Yes, sir. First thing, and this brought up more false information about what was going on this past week. Anything I've seen in a long time. It was announced that Apple had partnered with Starlink or its iPhone. Well, that's not really what happened. In the latest release of the iPhone software, they provided the hooks can be used. Now, Starlink is a satellite communication system that's low orbit. Currently, global, is one Apple chose, is a medium orbit. Low orbit, you don't have to be in direct line of sight for it. T-Mobile right now has announced that they will be offering this service to its consumers soon. Some other website yet, but they will provide it, which means that you could take your phone, if you have T-Mobile, and supposedly Verizon, AT&T will be right behind them, anywhere on the planet and get communication. Anywhere. The only thing is if you go deep underground. For one, I understand, and I don't know this for a fact, that it is good to 15 feet underground, which is basically one story, a basement. If you are in an ordinary building, it's supposed to work. If you're anywhere in the open, it definitely will work anywhere. Unlike now that you lose signal, this will probably stop that. So that was the big announcement. Android will have support for it soon, and that's as much as I know about this one. It is not a partnership. There's another big, Apple stores no longer offer electronic Apple Care. You have to get a subscription in the stores. You go online, you can get the one-time version.
Currently, we don't know that may go away.
So explanation is why it just happens. AI DeepSeek. This has caused all kinds of controversy. It apparently is one of the most advanced AI engines available. Leaps and bounds ahead of anything else we have. Is it banned in Italy for security reasons? They don't trust the Chinese on AI. The EU is planning on banning it soon. The NSA is evaluating it right now. There are great concerns about it. If you are looking at AI engines and you find one that is based upon the DeepSeek, I strongly urge you not. You'll get more answers. And apparently, it's amazing what it can do.
Also, what really threw the AI industry into a tizzy is that they reported that they built the thing for like $4 million instead of several $1 billion, and they didn't have to use the latest NVIDIA chips to do it.
And it was done. Remember how long it took them to do it?
I don't remember.
They claimed 60 days.
Oh, and what's also hilarious is OpenAI is claiming that they trained it off of the results of OpenAI. They used OpenAI to train it.
Yeah.
And OpenAI is upset that stole all the data that they stole from scraping the internet.
Microsoft has raised the price 365 and drops the VPN, Virgin Private Network. They're stating that AI is a problem with this. Why they had to, because of the inclusion of AI in 365. Well, nobody else claiming that.
Well, I think since they're adding Copilot Plus to all the apps, it's costing them more, so they have to charge more, right? That's what they're saying.
But you're allowed to downgrade or pay more or less. We shall see. Have you used Copilot Plus? Is it worth it?
This goes back with me to WordPerfect. I just find it annoying when systems try to help because I know what I want to do. So stop trying to help.
The Apple Intelligence writing tools, I fall in love with them. a lot of this presentation was inspired by what I got. But what's even better is, I'll write up a whole bunch of stuff, or Micro sends stuff to me, or Gary sends stuff to me. I need to make a slide out of it. Well, I could sit and spend a lot of time going through and figuring out, okay, what's important. So I just go in and say, and it goes through and analyzes it. It comes back with its recommendation. And 80% of the time I say, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. No, that's not quite what I want, but it's enough for me to work with. I need to go through and rewrite. I'll write something, especially my daughter, who has a very Turk's way of writing things. Almost, I think is more friendly. What it does is very interesting. It goes through and it looks at all the documents I have in Pages, and I have to get which thing you have. And it analyzes my writing style and recommends in my style. So it sounds like rewriting.
Pilot, now that it's been added into the apps, I did find out I went into the options on Word and I found one Copilot option. I went into that. It only has one option, turn Copilot off. So, which I did.
Yeah, so there's that. Okay, I'm going to have to find that because
The European Digital Media Authority says they have to, and they want to sell stuff in the European Union. The app has no age verification, which means anyone can go in and download it and use it.
in the EU,
In the EU, it is not available in the States. It's not available anywhere except the EU.
and it's in one of the alternate app stores that they've had open up to. That's where it's not in Apple's app store.
Here's a quote from Apple. They're deeply concerned about the safety risks that hardcore porn apps this type create for the European users, especially the kids. Fortunately, do not have this issue in our country or actually anywhere else in the world except the European Union.
Currently,
They did this. I have no idea. Can't find out the ruling. I can find out the results of it, but I can't find out why they did it. Moving along, Microsoft reports a 10% growth this last quarter, and they cite AI is finally paying off. You notice that because of AI, they had to raise prices, but because of AI, they're making money.
well, they have to recoup some of that money they paid OpenAI with the company for the ChatGPT partnership or whatever they did.
With Apple and OpenAI, if you try and ask the question with Microsoft, there's no straight answer. Working with. Moving right along, share a tip or favorites. We've got quite a few.
All right, so first off, just ask how many like to wear clean clothes. Then presumes that somebody in your household does laundry, right? I'm sure all of you have purchased maybe some piece of clothing and you're not sure about the care of it, and you look and it's got a laundry care label with all these little symbols and icons and so forth. You say, what the heck does this all mean? Sometimes there's text too. Sometimes the text is either really small or faded, or you can't really get glean as much information as you'd like from it. So interestingly enough, and this is a feature in iOS and Mac OS, iPad OS in the Photos app. If you come across a laundry label and you want to know what those icons mean, if you take your phone and take a photo of it, and then that gets transferred into your photos library on your phone, your iPad, or your Mac, there's a facility for it to interpret those for you. And I've already taken a couple of photos here to show you. I'll show this one first. This is, it's not showing my whole screen. It's just showing the photo up there. It's not showing the interface. That's bizarre.
Yeah, because that's what it's.
Okay, so that's the photo library, but how come? Oh, I'm going to have to turn it this way? Oh, dear.
That solution.
What?
Send me I'll open up on photos of mine, and it's usually your screen.
Yeah, because you need to see the other interface elements to know what to do here. Oh, dear. That's terrible. So when you're looking at, I was on the iPad, but this is on the Mac. It works the same way. You'll notice in the title bar at the top, or the toolbar at the top on the right, you've got some icons. There's one that's normally just a circle with an eye in it for getting information on the photo. And if you tap or click on it, it'll show you like the GPS coordinates on the map, the name of the file, the metadata on the file. But if it has a little sparkle star on it, and you notice that there's a different icon in the middle, it's a washing machine. It's kind of small. And you click on it, and then it puts a little dot on the photo itself next to it's looking at the actual contents of the photo and recognizing those symbols. If you click on the little dot in the middle, it'll give you an overlay and tell you what those symbols actually mean. And you can you can scroll through see at the bottom on the Mac. Click on it again, John. At the very bottom, you got a left and right scroll. You can see each of the different icons. It gives you a separate description. On the iPad, it shows them in a vertical scrolling list, but so it's a little slightly different. So if you're ever curious about that, and this tag is actually the shirt I got on. It shows you the contents of the material, but it doesn't interpret those little symbols. And then if you go back, John, to the other one, there's another one. It's just the symbols by itself, same kind of thing. Click on the info button, and then you've got a little tiny button on the photo itself, right in the middle, and you can get the information about how to care for your clothes. And this has been in since sometime in, I think, iOS 17. The previous year's operating system, never wrote anything about it until just recently. Somebody mentioned it in a podcast I listened to. I said, "Are you kidding me? That's kind of cool." So
I wonder if you took the picture of a coffee cup symbols on that, recognize those.
So like the symbols for recycling.
Yeah, it could be, because they've been building in over a period of years more machine learning about looking at the actual photo to give you information, like that letter or that information icon. If it's a picture of a plant, it'll actually now, in a lot of cases, tell you what that kind of plant that is. It'll do some animals as well. They've built in for years, even before the Photos app, they started with iPhoto, being able to tag and identify people, and it would automatically then recognize faces. You could have like one of the collections on the left sidebar you can see is people, and you can go and look at all the pictures of your children or your father or whatever. You could look it up, and I'm sure you could feed it to an AI engine and say, "What does this tag mean?" So
You'll get 30 ads for you, and here's where you could buy this shirt.
exactly. The thing about the Apple information, there you go. See, identifying a bug. So the thing about this is it's just built in on your device, and you don't have to, go to Google or do a search or anything like that. So now, one of the newest things that Apple has added to the very latest operating systems would be the iPhone 15 Pro and 16s, all the 16s. So it's limited to a certain number of phone models at this point. In their Apple Intelligence initiative, they have something called Visual Intelligence that uses the new button that they added called the camera control button. And when you point your camera at something in the real world and then hold that button in, it's supposed to give you some identification about what you're looking at. Or it could do something else. Like if it's a poster for a concert, it would actually then create a calendar entry for you automatically if you wanted to, put that on your calendar to go to that concert. Or if it's a restaurant, it would read the signs of the restaurant, and then it would take you and give you, reviews or menu or whatever for that restaurant. Identifying a dog breed. They had a very awkward ad about that, where a guy walks up to a woman who's walking her dog, and the first thing he does is take a picture of her dog rather than just ask her, "Oh, that's a cute dog. What breed it is?" But supposedly, it would be really nice if this laundry thing would actually happen with visual intelligence, and you wouldn't have to take a photo and then go to your Photos app to learn about it. You could just, no, I did try it. It doesn't work yet. So maybe you'll add it in the future. But anyway, so that's laundry label for iOS and macOS in Photos.
The next topic is
Now, this is also part of Apple's intelligence. They have a visual generative AI engine to create new emoji. So if you are a texter, you like to text and you like to use emoji, the emojis that you get to choose from are not chosen or created by the platform that you're using. They're overseen by a committee, a body called I forgot what don't remember. Anyway, a consortium that determines what the actual characters are and their descriptions. And then each platform owner, like Apple, Google, Facebook, whoever, they actually create the artwork to go along with those characters. And it's really like a font. It's just a huge number of characters in a font, and all the characters are little pictures. So at some point, maybe you've wanted to send an emoji of something to somebody, and you search through and you can't find a picture for what you want to send. So Apple has created in their own Apple Intelligence initiative here now a way to create them on the fly. They're not added to the actual emoji keyboard alphabet, but they are added so that you can use them over and over again if you want to. So let me open up messages here.
When this feature came out, I never used that. I thought it was kind of easily cut.
I know. It's fun. It's actually, I think it's the best part of Apple Intelligence so far. To me, anyway. I know you like the writing tools, but I haven't actually delved into that too much myself. But
The second writing tools.
so here I am on the iPad. I'm in our officers group chat here. So if I want to send an emoji to our group here, I can bring up the emoji selection here, and it's showing me what my recents are. But whoops, I'll bring it up again. I can look at the regular emoji keyboard, and it shows all the smiley, everything we've noticed so far, or you've had in the past. And there's a search bar, and it used to say search. Now it says describe one, which I think is better because all of these emojis have their own descriptions. That's part of the standard. So you can search for Goofy, and it gives you some options here for of the standard ones. But say you want to send a Goofy. So you want to say a Goofy duck. There's no results in the standard keyboard. So now there's an option to create a new one. And if you tap on that, you get into what Apple calls image playgrounds, a subset of that. And it starts generating. Now you do have to have an internet connection to do this because I think it's hitting Apple servers here. I don't know why he's got a torch, but it starts generating them. Oh, here's a Goofy duck at a party. And once you find one, or it keeps creating them as long as you swipe through. It'll start a new one then if you don't like. Here's one with starfish. Very interesting. I think I'll just go back to this plain one here. And if I add it, come on, add. What did it do? There we go. Oh, there, I'll delete that other one. And then it's in the text field. It looks like an emoji. Apple uses its own design language that they use for their regular emoji keyboard. Matches the look and feel of their own emojis, and then you can send it in a text message as if it was, and you can combine it with text as well, like any other emoji. Now, it's also then saved your sticker album. So you can also, again, go back and use it. You can use it again.
What's your sticker album?
Your sticker album is accessible in the Messages app when you tap the little plus sign next to the text field, and it gives you all these options. And you can go directly to Genmoji generation if you want. But you can take a picture. You can go, share a photo from your photo album. These are just options. But stickers is one of them. So any sticker you've created from an image manually or any Genmoji appears as a sticker. And you can use stickers by tapping and holding and dragging them, and then you can add them as a comment or a tap back sort of thing on somebody else's text from a previous conversation. Or something else that's saying that just flew out of my head. Apple created a quick ad that shows this functionality. I think it was pretty funny. Did you see it? Oh, okay. Let's look at it. I think it's only 15 seconds long. Let's see.
A folk paint cone, skeleton made out of chrome, dog balloons and they go spy. A horse wearing a tie, bucatini, raisin peas, Socrates on mountain ski, and Elanese and blocks of cheese all bumping MP3s.
Pig in the sky, one-sided die. Chair that can walk, claws that can talk. A little painting of a guy in a hat, a furry cardigan and a heart-shaped hat.
That is Mollasso candy pile, can of worms, golden smile. Little Eggman throws his hands in the air, going wild.
The animation.
Yeah, that was just produced for that commercial, I'm sure. But I went and got the transcript for that song with all the descriptions that they say out loud when you're showing them on the screen, and then tried some of them out to see if I could. If I just look at my stickers here, you can see some. Here's my tomato spy. It didn't look good. And pigs in the sky. It didn't actually make a pig with wings, so I had to actually describe flying pig instead. So some of the things they say in the lyrics of the song don't actually create what they show on the screen. So I had to modify some. There's my horse with a tie. So some of them it was kind of fun to try some of them out to see how if what they say in the lyrics would actually create what they showed. But
Hey, folks, we're back from the break. By the way, whoever made that bread that was brought in, it is absolutely delicious. Web browsers and search engines, a blessing or a necessary evil? Which is it? And we will soon discover. First, we're going to talk about web browsers and what they are. And give me a second. Here we go. Let's talk about what web browsers are, because I know there's a lot of people who are confused by this term. What a web browser is an application that allows you to retrieve and view content on the internet. It's been set up especially. So it's an application that goes in, and we could talk technically what it does. It uses a special language called HTML, and it takes that code and makes it into something you can view. It renders web pages. It interacts with multimedia elements, forms, hyperlinks. This is all built in to what the web browser does. And it uses a very special language to do that with. And they keep improving it. Because when it first came out, 20 some odd years, no, God, more than that, 1988, 89, I think it was. All you could do is pictures and text. Yeah, okay. Well, actually, there was one before that, because Doug Nielsen came into my office and he said, "You've got to see this." And it was the very first web page that came out of CERN. And all it did was put text on the screen with a hyperlink. And that's all that it did. And we sat there and said, wow. And going over, and then Mosaic came out about, I guess, maybe a year later. And there was actually content. Before that, we used something called Gopher. Archie, Veronica, and Gopher. Gopher was the big one. Did you ever play with Gopher? Gopher was an interesting drill in futility. If you knew what you were looking for, you could find it. But if you tried to find something and not know where it was, you'll never find it. Okay. Get the garlic out. Oh, I remember those days all too well. And it also provides you a user interface. Pretty much has become standardized across different web browsers. There are many web browsers out there. If you're on a Windows machine, Edge has become the de facto standard. If you're on a Macintosh, it's Safari. If you're on Chrome, it's Chrome. But there are lots of them out there, and most of them work the same, except where it's critical, which is the user interface. And the user interface on each one of them is slightly different, but what they do is very standardized, sort of. Have you ever been up where they come in and say, you're not using the right web browser, you need to use X for best functionality? That is because there are different options in the standard, and some people implement them and some people don't. Privacy is another consideration, that there's huge differences in how privacy is implemented. So sometimes because of privacy, you can't use a particular site. Popular browsers. I'm sure most of you have heard of Chrome by Google. What it's known for is its speed, sometimes. Its simple user interface. It has an extensive library of extensions. It is not particularly safe, but that has an advantage in that it can be used on almost anywhere, because it doesn't protect you against anything. Firefox is another very popular one. That one goes back. In fact, if I remember correctly, Mosaic transitioned into Firefox. Am I correct on that? Yeah, Mozilla. That's right, Mozilla. Really, it is. What happened to Mosaic? Did that just die? Yeah, I used it for a while too, and yes, so do I. Then you have Mozilla Firefox that, while they are not the same, they're the same people, I think, are still doing that. Yeah. Oh, Netscape. Oh, yes. Netscape. Oh, my God. Yes. Firefox is very strong on privacy. There's only one other browser which is probably more secure than that, and that's DuckDuckGo. Oh, yeah. The browser is very secure. It's their browser. The DuckDuckGo basically is private mode all the time.
Firefox user interface isn't quite as good as some of the others, but if you're looking for security, it's a very good one to go to. It's open source, so you're getting stuff added to it all the time. Apple Safari is considered to be one of the fastest. It is optimized to work on the Apple devices. It's a very clean and very good security, almost too good sometimes, because it wants to make sure you don't get screwed over by a site, hacking sites. Sometimes you can't get on the sites you want to get on because it's blocking it. Government sites are that way. Safari quite often will not work on a government site because they are trying to block you from what they want to do. The VA site is a good one on that one. I don't know how many have gone to the VA site. Social Security site's another one that, depending upon where you go on the Social Security site, Safari may not work. Chrome works like a champ. I've noticed that too. Like on some of the sites I've been going to, like Chase, all of a sudden on Chrome, it comes up and says, warning, this site may not be secure. I said, what? Because see, Safari and DuckDuckGo do not allow that by default to download scripts unless it is correct as part of the embedded code. JavaScript is one of the programming languages used in web browsers, and I use the term programming language extremely loose. It's more like a scripting language. Opera is another one. Now, these are all web browsers that do fundamentally the same thing. But that's why I have all this verbiage up here so you can go back later and say, geez, maybe I want to try this one. One of my favorites is DuckDuckGo. Their search engine is different than what I'm talking about now. I'm talking about their brand new web browser. It's only been out for a couple of years. It is optimized to work with their search engine, and it offers extreme privacy. So you may find out there are lots of sites you cannot go to because of that. I found out that DuckDuckGo does not like Temu at all. It will not let you into Temu, which I can understand because you should be using Temu. It's a great place to lose money. Any questions so far on popular browsers? I forgot Microsoft Edge. It's built on the same engine as Chrome is. And that is, Edge is one of those love-hate relationships. You'll either love it or you'll hate it. And there was a feature in Windows 11 when it first came out. I didn't know this. I was told by a friend. Kept you from using any other browser except Edge. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. That was not fun. Microsoft changed that in, I think, the very first update. Edge is part of, and I use this term loosely, the operating system, so you can't get rid of it. It's there all the time. And I've been forced to use Windows 11 here recently. Oh, there's very interesting, I found out. Using Windows on your Mac, you can be done, but can it? Do you have to have Windows in order to run Microsoft applications? And the answer is no. Parallels has a feature which is a program that allows you to open up virtual engines, Windows, Linux, as a virtual machine on the Mac. I went and installed the Windows operating system. I did not buy Windows. I just installed it through Parallels, which is, I don't have Windows, and I could run Windows apps as if they're Mac apps, okay? But I don't have the Windows OS, which I found to be very, because I will not pay $139 for Windows. Search engines, coupled with web browsers, is the search engine. Because search engines are an integral part of a web browser. They are not the same thing. I want to emphasize that. And for those of you watching this at home, search engines and web browsers are not the same thing. Search engines search, web browsers display. I'm going to say that again. Search engines search, web browsers display. So often I'll get people, I'll ask them, what web browser are you using? Google. No, Google's a search engine. What web browser are you using? I don't know. Google. Oh, God, yes. Okay. Or I ask them, what search engine are you using? Chrome. That's why I'm doing this presentation, because I want to make sure everybody understands these terms. A search engine is basically software that is designed to search the World Wide Web for information based upon a user query. However, how many of you ever heard of the term the dark web? Do you know what the dark web is? You be quiet. The dark web are sites that you can't get to except directly. They're not a part of the web. They're just sites that you have to know the URL to and enter it directly. Search engines can't get to them. Not indexed. Because what happens with a search engine is there are little spiders that go out and they crawl from site to site to site, gathering information, each web page, and they send it back to the harvest, and they go in and they index all this stuff, and they look at the words and they throw out words, and they go and build. And these spiders crawl, and they'll go to a page, and on that page they'll say, oh, here's another URL, here's another URL, here's another URL, and it'll go to them and send spiders out to them. And it's constantly going out and searching the web for information. And they come back and they index it. And that index is what is used by the search engines to find your web pages. Now, each search engine does it slightly differently. That is why search engines will produce, that's the word I was looking for, different results. You can enter the same search parameter in 3 different search engines and come up with 5 different results. Yeah. And you've all heard of cookies, right? One of the things that cookies do is they keep track of where you go and what you do on your machine. There's cookies on your machine and there's cookies on the remote machine. Cookies are the only way that sites can keep track of who you are. That's what they were invented for, because the original concept was you couldn't do that. You could not keep track. Well, they found out that things like passwords and cookies are there's good and bad things about cookies. It's more like a really hate, and I can't stand you relationship. You know, it's like ex-wives. You ever wondered how a site knows who you are? That's from cookies. Or how a site knows what you've bought and make recommendations? This is starting to change because of AI coming in, and we'll talk about that. We now know how a search engine search. It is very complex. So that's why if you enter the same thing, you'll get different results. And here's a trick. If you do a search and you don't get the results that you're looking for, do it again. You'll get different results. I've done it as many as 5 times until I got what I wanted. And finally said, that's what I'm looking for. Or be more descriptive. What types of search engines? Now, a lot of people just, when we say search engines, they think of a specific one that we see all the time. The Google search engine, the DuckDuckGo is one, Dogpile's another. Well, these are general search engines. Right now, there's approximately 32 of them, and they're designed for global information retrieval. If you go into your web browser, most of them will give you an option as to which search engine you want to use. And you have Google, you have DuckDuckGo, you have Yahoo, you've got Bing, which is Microsoft's. Just find one that you like. One is not better than the other. Contrary to popular opinion, one does not give more ads than the other. I've heard that said before. Somebody's trying to tell me, well, Bing gives me way too many ads. No, that's not part of HTML. There's no way for the search engine to return more ads. But there's also specialized search platforms. How many of you have gone to a site and you can do a search on that site for something like Amazon, the VA? Those are known as specialized search engines. They are optimized to search a specific site. Like if you go to the VA site and you enter in the search window to find images of ducks, because it's only designed to fill that niche of that particular site. That's why if you go up to Amazon, the only products that are returned to you are the products that Amazon carries, which I think is everything in the world twice. Okay, so specialized engines, there's not really much you have to remember about that, except if it's a search engine on a site, it's for that site. So you have general ones, and that'll search everywhere except the dark web. Popular search engines, while they all seem to work the same, they are all different. Google is probably the most popular search engine out there. On most machines, on a lot of machines, that is the default standard. Now, Google pays a lot of money for that privilege. That's why on a Windows machine, you find Bing is the default standard. Until a judge came along and said they can't do that. Why? I will never understand. It is still the default standard, but you can change it. You have to be given options. Bing. Some people love Bing. Some people hate Bing. I've used Bing on my Mac once. It gave me nothing but wrong results. And I said, never again. Yahoo. And I honestly don't know anybody that uses the Yahoo search engine anymore. My favorite one, when I get frustrated with all my other search engines, is I go to Dogpile. Dogpile right now uses 16, maybe more search engines to do your search. So when you put a search in Dogpile, it's going out to other search engines, having them do the search and give you back the results. I use it when I can't find something that I want. And so I go to Dogpile. It's slow is the problem. I've seen searches take up to 5 minutes to return. For most users, using in just the standard search engine, you're okay. You don't have to use Dogpile. Dogpile will probably give you the best results. You don't always need that because if you're getting the results you want. Now, let's talk about and I'm not going to demo this, and you'll see why in a second. This is kind of a lecture because of the nature of we have so many different browsers and search engines. Search engine has a different way of specifying how to search. They have a different syntax. So what I want you to do is what these allow you to do is to narrow down your search considerably so you can get the information you're looking for, such as a date range, a type of image, a definition, on what are the search parameters Google search engine. And you'll get a page that tells you all about that. One for Dogpile. And you'll see that We remember when we did that on all the parameters? And the reason I decided not to do that this time, I'm going to give you the reason why, is after that meeting, I got so many phone calls from people saying it didn't work. Well, what are you using? I'm using X, which is a different search engine. And that's when I went and started researching to find out everybody does it differently. And I tried, there's one that DEF define. Well, in the Google search engine, if you type in DEF colon and give it a word, you'll come up with a definition of it. Or entomology. I forget what the abbreviation is, that one, to give you the history behind the word. You go to a different search engine and you have to type out definition colon. Another one, you have to DEF no colon. Whatever search engine you use, go up and find out what the syntax is. Because what it allows you to do is use your search engine a lot more and get better results. How often do you have to use the search parameters? Only when you find out that you're not getting the results you want. If you put in the search in your search engine and you're getting what you want, don't worry about it. But if you come across, things like, gee, if you look at the search parameters and say, oh, wow, I didn't know it could do that, then you've just increased your ability for knowledge. And once again, I'm going to say, remember, a web browser and a search engine are not the same. A web browser can work with almost all search engines. You don't have to use the same search engine with a web browser. So when you are asked, what web browser are you using? We're not asking about the search engine. We're asking which application are you using? Okay, any questions so far? Well, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to show you. Okay, we're going to go over here to Safari. And I'm going to enter in Google search operators, the complete list. And down here, we have site. Example, the site operator restricts results to those for a particular site. I've used that one. That's sort of like the specialized search engine on the site. I can go up and say site va.gov, and it'll restrict the search to that site. I like this one. Working, unreliable, not working. Quotes, that means literal, just that phrase. You have the Boolean operators and not. You can subtract out. These are all the search parameters. If you're looking for, this or this and this, or this and not, file types related. These are all the commands you can use. And it's different for each web browser. So let's go up, search operators. Let's do Bing search. And here we go. And we have down here eventually, okay, the feed, which wasn't on the other one. File type, which was extension on the other one. Now I'm going to show you a neat trick on Safari. I don't know if you can do this in any other, but I can come up here and say, hide distracting items. And I can go say, I don't want that. Get rid of that. I don't want that ad. Is this an ad? Yeah, I don't want that. Well, I found a lot of ads the ad blocker doesn't catch. So I can just go through and get rid of all this garbage. It's by site. And then you have to say you're done to turn it off, because it'll get rid of anything on the screen. If I click on this box here, there's the reader service where it goes through, and if the site supports it, it creates a page with no ads on it at all. But this one doesn't. So you see, two different search engines, two totally different sets of search parameters. That's why I'm not demoing them, because not everybody uses the same search engine. Because it takes about 2 hours to go through all the search parameters. So we'd have to have a meeting devoted to Google, one to Bing, another to Dogpile, and go, we'd have nobody here but me. Yeah.
Everybody call you in there.
Yeah. Barry and Mike would just get up and walk out on me. Carolyn had been gone a long time ago. I'd be sitting here by myself all day. Okay. So any questions on search engine parameters? We're going to get into a very interesting part of the discussion. Where am I? Here I am. Okay. Back into here. Okay. Here's some common ones you'll normally find. Keyword search, Boolean operators, location, of course, Bing. Most of them use location : Bing uses site, but these are different things you can do a keyword search. Why you use them? I've talked about this. I thought I talked about this. Oh, I'm going, no wonder. Date range, language. One of the things that's becoming popular is automatic translations on foreign language sites. I've seen this more and more popping up. I like to go and read European newspapers. I do not speak anything, including English. But I can't read English fairly well. And I'll go up and I routinely read German newspapers, Italian newspapers, Polish newspapers. And yeah, the Poles are fascinating people. I became very impressed with them. And you find out a whole different slant on news, a completely different slant on news. I go up and read the British newspapers. Generally, they can't translate that one very well. I still can't understand British. You can do image searches, video searches. So all these parameters, you can narrow it down. The one I use a lot is image : and describe the image that I want. It'll go out and just find me images on that particular, and it narrows it down very nicely. Like Well, actually not DuckDuckGo, but a lot of them will return categories to you on a regular search. But using images, it narrows it down so the search is faster. But yeah, I use the image tab all the time. Okay, this is more stuff. You can view this at home when you go through it. Now, the big change that's coming, and it's becoming more and more popular and getting better and better every day. AI and searching. I don't know how often you do this, but quite often I'll use the search engine to ask a question. Who were the 4-star generals during World War II? What do we normally get back? I'll get back a set of URLs to tell me, go, this is where I think you'll find the information, but what I want is an answer to my question. It's coming. Actually, it's here to a great degree. AI will enhance your search. By the way, do you know that most of the search engines now use AI to do their searches? Big time. As a matter of fact, you're going to be surprised at how much AI is being used on your day-to-day. It's amazing. How many of you use YouTube? You ever wondered how YouTube makes the recommendations for you? Got news for you. It's going through and keeps track of what you watch and makes recommendations, which are 90% of the time wrong. Yeah, the AI search engine, I don't get along well. Now, if you have Apple Intelligence, there's something that's been added to Safari that I think is really cool. Is if I go in and ask it a question, the first thing it'll do is put up a little window. You notice this, Barry? A little window with the answer with the URLs below it. I said, wow, I mean, that's kind of cool. Okay. And I didn't realize that was AI, Apple Intelligence, doing that until very recently.
I didn't either. I thought it was just
I thought it was
because I'm
the web
using
browser.
DuckDuckGo. I thought it was the
Yeah.
search engine.
Well, Google Overview does the same thing with Chrome.
Yeah.
Except I've noticed that usually it's the summary of the first URL that's presented is all that is.
But with the AI, it's actually using ChatGPT to answer the question. Voice search is AI. Visual searching, I have not seen implemented for the general consumer. I've seen it with Department of Defense stuff. It's really kind of cool. AI now is being built into search engines, refine your searches. We're seeing it more and more. Amazon, how many of you use Amazon to buy stuff? You ever notice the stuff that it recommends to you? A lot of people thought that, well, that's cookies. Not really anymore. It's going through analyzing your buying patterns and comes up for recommendations based upon what you've bought in the past. And it gets very, very confusing because my daughter uses my same account. So, I went up there, it was about 2 weeks ago. And all of a sudden, it was recommending all this makeup crap. What the heck is going on? Okay. And Jane, some of the AI examples used in search engines, Google's RankBrain uses machine learning to understand search engine queries. You see this is behind the scenes. We as users don't see it. But that's what Google uses. It's called RankBrain. Siri, Alexa uses AI to understand what you're saying. Now, for those of the latest iOS is natural language. It's like you're talking to somebody. In fact, I've ended up having complete conversations with her. And it's just, I was blown away by it. Exclamation points. If you put in exclamation points, hey Siri, send a text message to my wife.
What do you want to say to she who must be obeyed?
Hi, hun, comma. I'm using this as a demo at the user group meeting, period, new line. So don't get too excited. No, I don't need anything. Everything's good to go. Exclamation point. Send it. Punctuation. And it'll emphasize them, especially like question marks. So that's really cool. And that is based upon AI. You ever notice when you could show an image of something and it can search based on the engine? That's AI, is famous for that. Natural language processor. YouTube, I talked about YouTube, Bing's image search. Bing's image search is actually pretty good. It's almost as good as the one in Amazon. I've been very impressed with it. I have not been able to get Google's image search to work consistently. I don't know why. It could be me. Oh, Spotify's music identification. And Apple's got one just where it can listen to a tune and tell you what it is. We use that when we're, out and about and we hear, you go like to a mall, we hear something. What is that? And you just hold it up and it comes on. Oh, that's X. Okay. Do we have any questions about any of this?
Shazam.
Now, what I want to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to demo using AI. There we go. What I'm going to do is come down here. Well, I have to type in some text. And I come down here to, over there, writing tools, down to Compose. Compose is part of the Apple Intelligence system that uses ChatGPT for free. It's ChatGPT 4.0, and it costs you nothing.
And it's more private than going directly to ChatGPT.
It's very private. If you own an iPhone, iPad, or Mac, it's available to you if you own a 15 Pro Max, a 16 or later, Mac OS with the M series chips or the iPad with the iPad with the M series chips. Let's see, who were the 5-star generals? And I can either copy it or replace the text. What I don't like about this is that I can't have it take the text. I can't ask the question in the text and have it do the search. There they are. Marshall, MacArthur, Eisenhower, and Bradley Arnold.
Hap Arnold, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Rather than doing, now, look what happens if I go through a search on that. Okay. You notice this little paragraph that shows up, and it tells me it came from Wikipedia. Black Past. So it actually references it for me. No, why can't I? Oh, show reader. There it is. This, when you go to this, I love this feature because it takes all the ads out and it's reading it. So this is almost like this is on a page. This will take a web page and make it into a document. It is not doing what ChatGPT did, which is go through and search the web and come back with an answer. ChatGPT is getting better and better and better. It is not always accurate, and accuracy and does not give references. Like I gave it a search the other day, is what is the largest? It came back to me and told me that there was a wall town in China. When I went up to try and find out what it looked like, I found out that that was not accurate. There is no porcelain wall in that town. That town is famous for its porcelain, but there's no, and it gave me a completely false. For doing that you want an answer to, I like to use the AI, but then I go back and double check it if I'm going to use it for something important. As a matter of fact, this presentation I used AI to do a lot of it. How many search engines are out there? Came back, and after I did that, I went and did a search on that and verified, yep, it gave me the exact right answers. Doing key points. Eventually what we're going to see, and I would say probably within 2 to 3 years, search engines that we know of today are going to be completely different and will give you back much more readable results when you ask it a question, or give you back much better results. Now, this brings up a problem. And one of the things I like about the Apple AI, originally you did not have a composition until they put ChatGPT in. You now have that capability. Questionable about students using it, give you some really good results. I like to do it to rewrite because its proofreading is much better than Grammarly, because it goes through and it proofreads it and makes changes based upon how I write, model that it sets up. So it goes through and says, hey, you need to, this is a better way of saying it. And I read it and say, that does sound like me. And when I can fool my wife, who I have not told I've been doing that, that's remarkable, because she used to object to me using AI to do stuff because it doesn't sound like you. She was right on that. There we go. That actually ends, where am I? There I am. My presentation for this week. And I'll take any questions.
What did you use to generate that background?
Generative AI in Photoshop.
What did it do with those other two guys on the side that don't have heads?
I don't know. I tried to ask it that, and it refused to give me an answer. In fact, all the backgrounds you see, I go up into the generative AI in Photoshop, and I give it the topic presentation, and it goes through and creates these for me. Like this one right here was one of them. This was one of them. That was the only two that I used. But yeah, because I'm not an artist by any stretch. Barry, you don't have to go, yeah, that's absolutely right. Barry's seen some of my work. It's terrible. Now, next month, what do we have next month? Collaboration. It's going to be a lot more demonstration and more discussion and showing you how to do something. Collaboration is pretty universal. Now, we're going to be showing Freeform, which is my favorite collaboration. We're going to be doing, have you seen Zoom Docs? Zoom has got a new feature in it that includes spreadsheets. It's for collaboration, built right into Zoom. So we're going to be showing that. We're going to be showing how we collaborate the meetings, because what we do is that I come up, I say, all right, guys, give me some ideas. And these two brain children out there will come back and say, oh, do this, this, and this. Oh, okay, I thought about those. So I'll go through and put the presentation together as best I can, leaving big blanks. And I send it out to collaborate. And they come back and say, you idiot, you forgot this, this, and this. Or
Yeah, Mike and I mainly correct all his spelling mistakes.
yeah, I was going to say,
If you can go in a month, then you'll have like 2 months ago's date on it.
yeah. And things like that I don't worry about.
No,
I just fixed them.
Yeah.
I still don't know what underwire meant on that one slide.
Did you leave a comment and say, what does this mean? Because sometimes I don't even know what I meant. And then we bring it back, and it's all done when they get a chance to do it. We don't have to be on at the same time.
I can put all my stuff up that when I sponsor with all my candles, I just go up and put, the new month stuff.
Yeah, she doesn't have to.
worry
Yeah,
about it.
she just goes up and fixes it. The only thing I do is I check, Saturday morning to make sure she's done it. Or I have to come up with, a good reason why. And like where you see my face right now, that's a black box, has the same feature. That's true. Okay, any other questions? Turn off, stop, record.